So here it is, the brand new OnePlus 7 Pro. We have a different color. This time, it's coming in a very special color that I'm sure you guys have seen during their event. They talked about it, they showed it, but it's finally here. This is their Almond Color. Now, before I show it to you guys, just to let you know, everything you see inside of the box is exactly the same. You have the warp charging brick, you have your power button. You don't get your power button in the, God damn it, come out, Jesus. Cable, you have a cable that connects to the charger charges the phone, giving you super fast charging. And of course you have all of your paperwork. Now the Almond Color is a very different approach compared to previous OnePlus devices. Usually when they release a brand new color, it's usually something funky like a red or I don't know, an African tango color. I just made that up. But usually it's something like darker, bold, it stands out. This is a little bit more subdued. This reminds me a lot of the iPhone XS gold color. Very clean, very classy, very minimalistic. It has like an ivory and gold feel to it. I like the design overall. So good job for those of you that want a little bit of selection. Now, the main thing I want to talk about is how does the phone live up after using it for over 30 days. I love this phone, hands down one of the best flagship phones I've used this year. But if you're wondering if I'm using it as my daily driver, the answer is no. And it's not because it's a bad device, I just find the phone to be much too big to carry on a daily basis. This is a 6.67 inch device, and to use this comfortably every single day makes a sacrifice in certain areas. One, it makes one-handability non-existent. Two, because the edges are curved and they don't do a good job as, let's say, the Galaxy S10 Plus as curving the edges, it makes it a little bit more difficult to type on. Now granted, after a few hours of use, your hands get completely used to it and you can start typing like a champion. But after your fingers go from this device to a flat screen device, your fingers cramp up and start having finger orgasms. Besides that, everything else is amazing. Like, I love this display. Like, it's really hard to look at anything else after using the 90 Hz refresh rate OLED panel because the color accuracy is so darn good. And when you combine that with such smooth motion, it's an experience like no other on a smartphone. And like I said, just like the finger example I gave when holding a bigger smartphone, same concept. You go to a 60 Hz panel after this, it doesn't feel the same. Same concept in gaming as well. You go from 60 to 144 Hz, it's hard to go back. And that's exactly what OnePlus is doing here with that higher refresh rate. The next reason to buy this phone is for the software. Like, there's a lot of great phones out there, but only two companies on the Android side of things are doing a good job with software. The Google Pixel and the OnePlus 7 Pro. This is one of the most enjoyable feelings I've ever had with an Android smartphone. Just, it's clean, it's simple, there's nothing sticking out at you. If I want to change the way it looks, I don't have to download a launcher. You can basically change icons directly in the settings of the phone. Dark mode is baked in well. You have different tones to give you a nice vibe and feel. And it just allows for a lot of customization without throwing a lot of heavy theming in the way. Now the next thing is battery. I love Warp Charge, it charges the device quickly, but two things stand out for me. It still doesn't have wireless charging, and I recently switched to a wireless lifestyle. I literally changed all my charging stations in my house to wireless chargers. And I have to say, it is very nice coming home, just placing your phone down and letting it charge instead of plugging it in. I know this sounds like a first world problem. I know this is not a big deal to a lot of people, but I still think today in 2019, any flagship device should have wireless charging. The other thing is battery life. I'm still only getting 4.5 hours of use before needing to charge on my Nebula Blue. Maybe the battery inside of here is a little bit off, but based on other reviews I've seen, it seems like I'm getting the right amount of time. I'm gonna try my luck with the Almond Color. Maybe this has a better battery inside, but so far my battery experience hasn't been that great. The other thing is the camera. It's been a much better experience compared to the 6T. Pictures look great. I like the additional lens of being able to have wider landscape shots, but overall it still needs to be fine-tuned to be on par with flagship smartphones. It still overexposes a little bit. Video looks very red, and what you have to do is bring it in and change the color profile to bring it back to normal. I just think they need to go back into the lab and work on their computational photography. So here are my closing thoughts after 30 days. This phone is for people who want the best display and the best best software experience first, with everything else coming after. However, if your biggest priority is camera, I still think other flagship phones do it better. For me, the phone is just too big, and that's more of a subjective complaint than a legit one. For others out there, you might like a phone to be the same size as a cricket club, and if that is your prerogative, then you're gonna absolutely love this device. One other thing I should mention before wrapping this up, the texture on the back of the Almond feels less slippery than the texture on the back of the Nebula Blue. So if you wanted to use this naked, get the Almond instead because it's much easier to hold in the hand than the Nebula Blue. Anyways, that wraps this up. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.